Hello and welcome to the Cutie Art Crusaders, episode 104 for July 1st, 2014. My name is Rainbow Plasma, I'm the organizer and this week's editor, and today I'm joined by...
Burn No One, special guest coordinator and not this week.
I'm Flutterguy317 and I'm the media manager for the podcast.
I'm Atmos Spark and I am back to my regular quest as duties. I'm no longer the host.
Hey, wait.
You did a good job though.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, you actually did really good. You were like segueing.
You guys really handled the show well last week.
Like had timers and stuff, and at the end you were like, "Oh, we're gonna do, the plugs before we talk about the next episode." It was really good, really good.
Funny guy.
Yeah, thank you for editing that, Burned.
No problem.
That
What
was
that, Joel?
crazy.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
All right.
So
Sweet.
So,
we got the other two guys
there's a
back this
couple
week.
things this week.
Sorry.
It started already.
It was like, but they didn't even like. Oh no, sorry you. No, you. They like said it at the exact same time, and it was great.
We're terrible.
It was
Okay,
fantastic.
so I'm gonna go first just because it's really quick.
Well,
I'm glad that you guys are back this week. It's good to have you guys.
yes, you too.
Okay, go ahead.
I have
Have
mixed
Rainbow
opinions.
Plasma.
That was it?
Mhm.
That was so lame. You suck.
Wow.
Please, my presence deserves more grand appreciation. Please, go on.
I was gonna say that there's lots of stuff to talk about, so I'm gonna go through them fairly quickly. First of all, we're airing on Canada Day, so yay, happy Canada Day.
Happy Kuna Day.
Yay.
That's not
Nobody
how you
cares but me. Cool. Also, 2-year anniversary, technically. I mean, we had our 100th episode, and that's like 2 years and stuff, but like technically, 2-year anniversary is like, around this week. It was like June 20.
We even had people send us
Or
in
whatever.
stuff for like our technical 2-year anniversary.
Yeah.
You have.
So cool. That's our 2-year anniversary. That's great. Yay.
Yay.
Son and Blitz,
So-
thank you for the cake.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
It was
He didn't
delicious.
actually send us a cake. He sent us a picture of a cake.
Close
The picture
enough.
was delicious.
Details.
So, we're back this week. Burned is not busy this week, and
Guess who's
I
back?
am. So
Back again.
last week I was really sick. I had something awful. And the problem is I still sound really congested, and it's annoying the crap out of me because I am not sick. I haven't been sick for the last
So you sound like me every day of my life?
this congested. I'm just
Hear that.
congested for like the last 4 or 5 days, and I don't know why. And I have this like lingering weird like congestion that I can't get rid of. So probably sometime in this podcast I'm gonna go up and have like nasal spray or something. But if I sound weird or sick, I'm not anymore. It's just this congestion for some reason is sticking around, and it's making it hard to talk. So, ugh.
Hope you feel better.
Also, my room's really hot. Did I ever mention that ever since I moved, my room is really hot because I have to turn off my fans when we record because it gives bad audio. So, it's really hot in here.
Appreciate our sacrifices, everyone.
Also, let me complain about my feet. My feet are swelling.
Lord.
Like, do you have any more like crap to
So-
complain about? Oh, come
So
on,
our theme this week is Rainbow Plasma's complaining.
Yeah, exactly. No,
I was waiting for someone to take the ball,
No,
but
no,
no
no.
one did. So let's talk about my
exactly.
personal
Like
problems.
I like how what is it? Flutter guy was like, "Oh, like I really miss you guys. I'm glad you're back." And you're like, "Oh, come on." No, that's lame. Let's talk about my problems, please. God.
All right, you know what? Here's the deal. I'm gonna go get some nasal spray. You guys finish off with
No,
the
you just
with the
forget the
Everfree
nasal spray. You
Northwest
just
stuff.
gotta do what I do and just hack 24/7. Just like,
No. Okay.
No.
Go have fun with the Everfree Northwest
Okay.
stuff.
So
Stop.
It's all about the ech. Okay, so speaking of Everfree Northwest, Burned and I are going to
Hey!
Everfree Northwest. Hey. So
Atmos
if
Spark will
you
be at
are,
home and lonely.
yeah, we might Skype him or something. I don't know, probably not. So if you're going to Everfree Northwest and you bump into either Burned or me, feel free to say hi.
say hi to me if you know what I
don't
look
be
like.
shy. Yeah. We're probably going to be going around checking out some awesome art, meeting some awesome people, stuff like that.
I'm gonna have a big horse tag on, and that's not like a specific horse tag. That's a name tag with a horse on it. It says Burn
Yeah.
01. It's blue and gray.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh, I should
slightly
bring mine.
horse famous. Look for my entourage that counts as probably Ted. I'm probably
Yeah.
mummified. He'll probably be chilling with us.
He'll chill with us, yeah.
Apparently, Skater Brony's been tweeting me on Twitter. The only
Dude.
guy.
Cool. Yeah, so yeah, I don't know how big of a crowd we're gonna draw, but
Yeah, right.
All of them.
all of them. Yeah.
won't
So yeah,
be
we're going to
there, though.
Everfree Northwest,
Forgive me.
and then Rainbow Plasma, Burn, and I are going to BronyCon along with Mahower.
That's gonna be fun.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, we are. And yeah, so we'll talk about that more when it gets to the time.
I can't wait
Yeah.
to see you.
Gosh.
What?
Oh, also us two, Burn, right?
Oh yeah, you guys.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, those other guys, right, Joel?
we'll Skype you.
That other
will.
guy? Who's that other guy?
No, we won't. Don't make false promises.
Like things
okay,
that I'm not willing
so-
to keep.
So there's another talking point that says clay minis, and I'm not sure what it is. Did someone write that?
Play minis.
Do you not know what
Have you
those
not seen
are?
those yet?
No.
I don't know why it's a talking point because we don't talk about like every single piece of fan art we get, but someone made like little clay miniature
Oh, well,
versions
okay,
of it.
no, it's a cool
Oh.
talking point because it's
That
like
one.
That is
it's
cool.
it's
haven't
artistic
seen it.
mediums that's new to us. So like fan art has always been something like awesome that like people have been sending us since like kind of we started the show and it's been blowing us away. Like we still get it and it's sweet, but like physical miniature clay versions of us, so like little clay sculpture, like physical 3D versions of us is
Oh, dude,
besides
that's
from
awesome.
these plushies that we got ourselves was a new like outlet of fan art that was kind of cool to get. That it was kind of like the first time we ever got fan art. It was like, whoa, people made something of us. This was kind of like that again, where it's like, whoa, someone made something of us physically, like tangible. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was
Right.
it was interesting.
Yay.
We've each got like little blind bag ponies painted for us, but nothing that's like made out of clay and painted.
Yeah.
So
That
thank
is
you,
so
Cotton
cool.
Paws.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
favorite
So
fan art folder.
we're going to get into the art now. Without further ado. And last week,
Whoa, we're going into art? What are we, an art show?
Yeah.
That joke's not old.
I got more fan
No.
art I want to talk about.
No, that would be an actual podcast.
yeah.
number.
I gotcha.
We don't make
we're
those.
not an actual podcast. Okay. So last week,
Horseman
Atlas Spark
can
and I
read.
decided that we were going to do a humanized theme, and
Now we're doing a humanized theme.
so we're going to start with a piece called "Colgate Watches You" by Holy V.
No, we're not
actually-
starting with that one. We're not even finishing with that one.
Wait,
You've taken the honorable mention and you've put it in
I
first.
did. Look at it. Look at those eyes. We're not actually featuring this piece, but look at it.
But that's not humanized at all. Where's the humanization in this?
So this was supposed to be in the honorable mentions because it makes me laugh every single time I see it. Because look at her stupid
It's
face.
so adorable. All right, enough of that. So we're going to
Great.
move on to our first
Anyways.
actual piece, which is called Princess Luna by Koriko.
hey, there we go.
Yay. So, Bern, you kind of chose this piece. Did you want to start talking about it?
Yeah, there's like a couple pieces that I'd been saving for like the humanized episodes. I was like, I'm gonna feature these. I'm gonna make it my episode. I remember like back when we didn't have this episode sculpted. I was like, there's these humanized pieces. Like I have 4 of them. That's gonna be the episode. We're gonna do it. And today we were like, we kind of go through. And then I think, what did I get? One? Nah, I got 2 in this episode. Whatever.
Yeah, you got to.
Anyway, no, I really like digital painting pieces, like digitally painted artwork. That like is physically like, use digital brushes and is kind of like painted and worked up and like colors work on top of each other. I really like that, and I've kind of come to really like it. And this piece is an amazing example of that, but in human form. So like it's really interesting because we don't get to feature. This is the first time we've ever featured humans, people, being painted, mind you. So it's like it's a new medium. There's different things to talk about it, and obviously like it's beautiful. Like this is a character that is like obviously meant to be like the subject of beauty, if you will.
Visually stunning.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and there's so many awesome things about it that are painted extremely well. That's completely different from painting colorful horses like digitally. So like skin tone becomes a huge thing that if it's not just so, it would like we're gonna be like what is that, and
Yeah.
our eyes aren't gonna like it. And if the face isn't painted just so, we're not gonna like it. But there's so many awesome things done with this piece that are visually pleasing. One thing that really caught me is obviously, I guess Rainbow Plasma would appreciate it, is her eyes. They're like glowing cyan. It's kind of like into this goddess like thing that Luna is. Also, the hair is done extremely well. It's painted in almost a way that would imitate, people's hair painted on like the top of her head. You know, it's kind of a realistic-ish kind of painting. Obviously, it's really loose and there's a lot of colors in there painted on top of each other. But then it kind of goes into these flowy, more brushstrokes where you can tell they're used with like a Photoshop brush on the right-hand side, and then you get like these sparkles where like it kind of flows into each other. I don't know. Everything's just really smooth, painted really well. The brushes are like super loose in some areas, like the dress and the bottom parts of the hair, and then super tight in other areas, like in her eyes, lips especially, where it's very small details, and like there's small details where they matter. Loose shading and like brushwork where lends to, you know, better for that brushwork, whatnot. I don't know. I just really like it. I like the color. I like cyan, and it's kind of like cyan based. I guess kind of that, you know, lots of shades of blue and everywhere in between. A little bit of violet in the hair and in the dress as like analogous colors. I guess skin is technically a complement to blue. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
it's
skin and
orangey
peach color
brown.
is it's
Peach.
pinks and oranges. Skin tones is any lots of variations between like pinks and orange. So there's lots of pinks and orange in the skin tone. But yeah.
I mean, I think that you talked about the eyes and the hair, and to me that's what really stands out about this piece. You know, it's what gives it its artistic flair. Other than perhaps the little reflection at the bottom.
I like the reflection. Yeah, it's really nice.
Yeah.
Nice touch.
But yeah, there's definitely I do like the transition between more of a traditional view of hair at the top down into more of an ethereal, looser kind of hair, in order to kind of convey the magicalness of it, and try to relate it more back to the show and its kind of ethereal nature. But it does that kind of smoothly with the transition, so that the top and on her right, our left side, it's still kind of like hair, but then all the hair below her chin starts to do that and kind of fade away, which is really interesting.
Yeah, it's a cool little touch.
Yeah, if you guys have points, I'd love if you bring them up, but I have another kind of lengthy point I'll bring up towards the end of this piece.
Okay. I wanted to touch on something that you kind of brought up, which is the whole Uncanny Valley with faces and like with anatomy and stuff.
Yeah.
Because we've brought up the Uncanny Horse Valley quite a bit.
Yeah.
It's not horses anymore.
Yeah. But I think when it comes to like humans, especially in art and stuff, it's very imperative that artists kind of get things right.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of wiggle room, but
Definitely.
like because we know what humans are supposed to look like, and ponies are just kind of like from the show, there's kind of this preset notion that, you know, humans have these features and they're in these proportions and stuff like that, and anything that's slightly off will definitely like get you into that Uncanny Valley.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
good art.
Like,
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, like, that's the whole point of the Uncanny Valley, was that it started with humans. Like, that's where the actual, and not the stupid horse one that I made. Like the actual Uncanny Valley has to do with human likeness.
Yeah.
And how it
Because
affects
it's
us.
super ingrained into our brains, you know, so we kind of transform that into the pony value, if you will, because we're so used to seeing show valley ponies and like what we think ponies should look like correctly, and then as they start to look like horses, it starts to creeps us out because a lot of people don't find like IRL horses, like super cute, you know, comparative to these colored ponies.
Yeah.
But I would say this Luna one is kind of, you imagine the Uncanny Valley, it's coming up out of the valley and it's kind of past that bad point.
Where it's like, because there is like too human to where it creeps us out, and then there is like this kind of soft painted, almost anime-esque features of like eyes, lips, like the nose, like there's a lot of things that play in there that aren't super detailed. And also to bring up details, like look at her arm, like her arm in the back distance, that is just like a thing of paint. It is just like a swipe of paint. But like, since we're looking at her face and like not looking at the arm down there and not looking at the bottom of the dress, really, when we start to look at details, it like looks great. Like we don't really think of it, you know. Anyway.
Yeah.
But no, that's a really good point with the valley.
Something I like seeing when people do humanizations of ponies is how they incorporate sort of the cutie marks into the humans without it just being like a face tattoo or a hip tattoo or something. So that's something I also look at. Like if they've just if they've made this character, say it's Fluttershy, and they've made a human version of it, and then they've just Cutie Mark, she has one of those. Where can I put it? There's a piece of skin, I'll put it there.
Yeah.
Then it sort of degrades it a bit for me.
Yeah.
We might have a couple pieces.
And this artist specifically likes to work the like symbol of the character on into like the clothing. So like the Fluttershy piece where it's in the dress, and there's a Twilight piece where it's also like the patterns in the dress. In this case, Luna's wearing her like classic neck guard thing with the moon on it, but like she has that anyway. I feel like you can almost see like underneath her dress, because her dress seems translucent to me also. I guess that's kind of like
There's that splash of dark on the bottom.
But no, it's also like their skin tones underneath the dress.
Right.
So, but yeah, I don't know. It's kind of like this.
Yeah.
I'm skirting grounds of PG here, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, well, I was going to say you can't give the artist too much credit because, I mean, that neck thing is something that Luna wears anyway, so it's not exactly in the incorporation of the cutie mark, but I do get what you mean with your point.
Yeah. It is always cool to see how people kind of interpret that in a human form. Something else I wanted to bring up with this piece is I really like how the lighting is done. So you get these really bright highlights, which are like very, very light blues and whites and stuff, in her hair, in her dress, and like along her arm. And they're like, it's a really thick kind of outline to it. But it definitely like kind of makes her pop and gives her some definition.
Yeah, I love that. I love that cyan, like that really bright cyan, like highlighting everything. And it makes great accents because like her eye is the brightest kind of point of cyan, and then it's like everything's being lit by that, and she has that outline, and like the edges of her hair all highlighted like that. Anyway, the point that I wanted to bring up was something that's actually going to be apparent in this episode especially, and I don't think we actually covered on it in our portraits episode where we did portraits of ponies. This one's kind of like a portrait episode. We have like 2 portraits and like 2 non-portraits kind of. Something that is very important in portraits is where's the character's gaze going. So, and like with ponies, I don't know if we've analyzed that very much because it's usually like, oh, we just look at the eyes and like how cute they are. But when it comes to people and like humans especially, since we see them and we associate them, with other real life people, where they're looking and casting their gaze becomes extremely important. And I guess it would still be with ponies. We just don't talk about it as much. So like the fact that the character is looking at us and engaging us becomes an extremely important like factor in this piece of where we will cast our gaze, because we will meet that character's like eyes if it's looking directly at us, if that makes sense, because it's a normal human reaction to usually like make eye contact or look at someone, with like exceptions of shyness and blah blah blah. So like there's another piece where like the character is also going to be gazing at us, and I believe it's our next piece that we'll get into, but anyway, I just wanted to make that kind of apparent, like with portraitures, that eyes also are important in two extents, not just the fact that they're pretty, but also like where that character is looking is something to keep in mind. Anyway,
but mostly that they're pretty.
Yeah.
Did you know that dogs will also follow people's line of sight? So like if you look at something, the dog will kind of know that you're looking at it.
Yeah.
Are there any animals in the world to do that?
Yeah, but they don't do it with other dogs.
There's
only with humans.
And there's a few intelligent animals that can understand like sight and where things are looking.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
All right,
yeah,
so so we're gonna move on to our next piece.
Speaking
which
of
is
dogs.
Diamond. Okay, our next piece is called Rarity by Indiron, who has some absolutely fantastic humanized pieces. I really like this style. I don't know. There's something about the flowy nature of the hair and the really soft shading on Rarity, like on her skin and stuff, that I really enjoy. This kind of, it's almost like an ultra realistic kind of sense to it.
What's funny is I know that you really enjoy this ultra realistic kind of style, because you definitely lean towards it whenever we're trying to like selecting art and stuff, especially even in ponies, like when it's trying to like people are trying to like ultra realize fur and dry hair and blah blah blah. Like, I know you really love that kind of stuff. So
So if the last piece that we talking about was on the above the weird line on the uncanny valley but before the dip, this one's coming out of it. And in my personal opinion, it has a couple of things that kind of strike me as a bit strange. But that's the thing about the Uncanny Valley is like oftentimes you can't pinpoint exactly what it is, and it's surprising. It's not surprisingly very subjective. But there is a lot of stuff that's done really well in this piece, and the level of detail in the face especially is really impressive.
I feel like in both this piece and the last piece, like the difference is that in this piece, there's a bit more detail paid attention to in certain facial features, and that kind of throws you off on the other facial features that aren't necessarily completely human. Like for instance, Rarity's eyes are quite big. I think, and I think that might be something that is throwing you off a little bit.
That was something that I definitely mentioned when we were like discussing this piece, was that the eyes feel too big, which makes it uncanny for me. They're also at an awkward angles for human anatomy. Like there's just a few anatomy errors. Like I guess it's more of a critique on this piece because like
and they're a little bit of a strange shape as well.
If you look how the eyes are like placed in the skull, they're like technically impossible, if that makes sense. At the angle her face is at, like her nose angle and lip angle is like technically impossible. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like her face is like a 3/4 angle, where her eyes are almost like closer to half. Anyway, but so like that's messing also with my uncanny meter, if you will.
Yeah. But I think like maybe those eyes could have passed in the previous piece. And like if we look back at the Luna piece, like her eyes are also very large. So there is that kind of...
They're also large, but not as large. And they're a little bit more dolled up with the makeup. And so it lends maybe about even. But it's more in the brushwork in the beginning one, where it's more of a digital painting. And so a lot of the style and like, I don't know, differences or errors or Uncanny Valley kind of stuff falls into that brushwork area as almost like an excuse, to where this one, it's so ultra realistic that there isn't really an excuse. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Interesting little thing I just tried. I have the piece quite big on my monitor because I like to zoom in on stuff, and I scrolled down until all I could see was the slivers of Rarity's eyes, and her face no longer looked strange. So I pinpointed what caused the Uncanny Valley thing for me. And honestly, the more I look at it, it's kind of like one of those pieces that you look at and you're like, okay, well, this isn't as strange as when I first thought of it. So that kind of happens. Anyways, on the side about that, because this makes it sound like it's a bad piece. It's not. Something really cool that it does that we just mentioned was the inclusion of stuff like the cutie marks and the talents in kind of in ways that aren't just like paint it on their butts. Like, you know, we have the diamonds or whatever those crystals are, you know, as earrings and as necklaces and as a little whatever the heck that thing is on her head.
Yeah. It's some sort of headdress or something.
There's a name for that, and like normally it's like flowers, and the like girls will clip it into their hair or whatever, and then wear like a cute little hat or something. My sister does it all the time. When she's like dressing up all steampunk or going out to like a fancy dinner or something, she'll use a stupid little flower snap thing. There's a name for it. I just don't know what it is.
Yeah,
I wasn't aware that steampunk and fancy dinner went together.
She has a steampunk outfit. She's super proud of it. It's actually really cool. And she has like an old school like 60s hat or something, and then like a little thing she like clips either in her hair or like on the outside of the hat. Don't get me wrong, it's cute. It's Sonia, if you're ever listening to this, like your outfit's adorable. But anyway.
That sounds awesome. So something I wanted to bring up in this piece is that I really like the colors and the shading that's done on the hair. There's a lot of like really cool blues, especially if you look at like where the gem thing, headdress, whatever we want to call it, is placed. But you also get a lot of these purples, and it kind of, I don't know if it's like a warmer purple. I guess you could consider it to be a warmer purple when compared to like the blue that's there. I don't know. I really like Joel and I talked about last week. I really enjoy these kind of bright colors, or like far ends of the spectrum, either warm or cool. So that kind of caught my eye when I was looking at this piece.
I like the fact that sorry, go ahead.
Well, no, just the intense blue, kind of like right there.
Yeah, I like I was just gonna say I like the fact that the artist chose to make her eyebrows purple as well, because like that is her hair color. It is purple.
That's her natural hair color.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I when we were looking through the art to pick, I chose this one because, to me, aside from the eyes being a little bit too big and a weird shape, this one to me feels the most natural, as like it would be a portrait of somebody who exists at the moment just without the eyes, because they're a little bit weird.
I can see that.
But everything else is pretty much spot on. Like the skin tone, even the hair color. It's a weird color, but you do see people with hair that color. For example, Silver Rainclouds at the moment has purple hair.
Does she have purple eyebrows?
No.
Aha.
Slacker.
She should just dye her eyelashes purple.
Just the lashes?
No,
you can use like mascara and stuff for that, I guess.
Yeah. I just do like, well, even Rarity has it on a little bit too, so.
Yeah.
Dunk your head and die.
Anyway, enough about eyeshadow and fashion. Something else that kind of falls. Oh no, go ahead, Joel.
There you go.
Fine, I will.
I will. Do it.
Something that falls in the awkward kind of uncanny valley for me again is the skin tone of Rarity. Like the touches on her skin that it's extremely humanizing and extremely realistic. Like her shoulder is where it's most apparent with like those spots and like flecks of like our skin looks like that, like realistic skin. You know what I mean? And so like the artist including that falls into that ultra realistic and then humanizes the piece even more. So yeah, Joel, make a point before we move on.
No, I'm good. I didn't have anything. I'm good.
I'll make a point then. Just kind of going off of Atmos Spark's point, that this kind of looks the softest / most realistic. When I first saw this, I kind of thought of like some older portraits of like maybe Madonna or something like that. Because it does kind of have that soft feel to it, like maybe with some filters over it.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm actually gonna make an illustration for this piece specifically that we can put on the screen while we're talking about like the construction of the face, because it'll kind of make it more apparent if it's harder for people to visualize as they're watching this. So, because like anatomy is maybe like something more aspiring artists don't understand or whatever. But anyway,
yeah.
Also, just notice she has like a glow or an aura around her.
Oh yeah, yeah.
What was that, Max?
Go ahead, Max.
I was just making a stupid joke. I was saying I should start charging you guys for edits.
Oh.
Moving
right.
on.
We're moving on to our next
Fantastic.
piece.
I'm glad we stopped the entire show for that one. I'm so glad. Speaking of stopping the entire show, let's start the entire show by moving on to the next piece.
So speaking of shows, our next piece is called Humanized Pony Lyra Heartstrings by Everfree.
Okay.
However you pronounce that. Awesome name.
Pep.
Yeah.
Pep.
Yeah.
Anyways. Okay, so here's the deal. I've been kind of quiet this episode, partially because I'm congested, also partially because, personally, Humanized, not really my thing. It's a preference. When I look at pieces, I either am like, hey, I either like that or I don't. And so unfortunately for a lot of Humanized stuff, it doesn't grab me in the same way. And I think, again, that kind of comes down to just personal preference. But something that really stood out to me was this piece. And I can't explain why, and that's how personal preferences work, kids.
She has horse features?
So I can't figure out why, but I really, really enjoy this piece, and I think it has really good energy. There's something about the stance, the facial expression. I don't know. It's got a little bit more pep to it, and I guess I'm a peppy kind of guy.
Well, I wouldn't say I don't know in that statement. You pretty much just stated everything, all the facts of why it's an energy-full and peppy piece. Like, you pretty much knew exactly why. Her stance is extremely powerful. There's a lot of movement. Her necklace is flowing. There is tons of spotlights. There's a crowd. Like, you basically just stated everything that was peppy and upbeat about it. Like, those are great points.
But I like how he chooses the least human version to like the most.
Also, it's kind of anthro, so I mean, like...
It's also kind of anime.
Yeah, it's very much anime.
Those could be just like, like a head thing with a horn attachment and a fake tail. You don't know.
I think you're just a horse kind of guy.
I think so.
Anyways, I really enjoyed this one the most. And the next one too, but I really enjoy this one, and I think again it comes from that kind of energy, and the thing about a lot of the Humanized stuff, and again this is really personal preference, is when I look at stuff like portraits or very still shots of humans, it doesn't grab me because it's like, oh okay, it's a human. That's cool. I see those every day. I guess there's something different about a lot of the pony pieces that we look at that's like different and out there.
But a horse.
So
Ponies.
I don't know. I don't, again, like you say that I know why, but I don't know why human pieces versus pony pieces that are of the same style, one of them grabs me, one of them doesn't. But this one in particular, I guess the humanized ones that I do like are the ones with like energy and again, it's the facial expressions. I enjoy the kind of happy, upbeat, thing like that.
Not the more stoic stuff. Yeah.
I'm making fun and I'm giving you junk, but like I was the same way. Like art never grabbed me until colorful horses, and then because of that, it thus changed how I viewed art, and then made me, want more to develop an appreciation for it. So
yeah,
because of that.
Also, I don't think that there is, I don't think that it's completely illegitimate to talk about the fact that it has anime features in it. Like Atmospark was saying, it's her face. Her face is the only thing in this piece that reminds me of something anime, especially her eyes. But there's something about that kind of flips this piece in my head to something completely different. Like if you cover over her face, there's nothing in here that would indicate that at all. But her eye, for some reason, is in that style.
I would disagree a little bit in that her hair is extremely anime-esque.
Yeah, her tail, her hair. Yeah,
that's fair. I guess again, I'm used to ponies, so I'm like, nah, that's normal.
And also, you could
argue that the background is also anime.
I would disagree.
A little bit.
I would say anime style.
I disagree on every other point besides the hair.
I could see that because a lot of animes like using that kind of style, but what I call that style is almost like photorealistic Photoshop style. Because when I see stuff like that, it just screams like it looks like really good Photoshop work. Not like that's a bad thing, but I mean, it's photo manipulation, is probably using some kind of like references or like photo source material, or maybe it was handcrafted and it just looks amazing. I don't know. But on another point, the fact that the piece is like made using line work and then colored in and tried using realistic shading is also like kind of anime 101, where you take a black outline and then you fill it with color. Like that's kind of, illustration and its finest. But anyway.
Yeah. I'm not trying to say that like Humanized is bad. It's just, some art grips us and some art doesn't. And I don't want to shy away from that fact because sometimes that happens.
Yeah, I gotcha. Just like your opinion, man. Yeah.
So this one was really cool. I liked it. I won't talk about it anymore, and I'll let you guys talk about it if you want to.
If you have anything else. All right. I wanted to just mention that in our past two pieces, neither human has had any reference to a pony form besides like their cutie marks being placed. But in this piece, Lyra either is wearing a horn or has a horn on her head and also has a tail. So I thought it was kind of interesting that the artist chose to include that. And it does kind of give it an anthro kind of feel, but we decided to shy away from anthro ponies this episode because we will have an anthro episode in the future. But everything else about Lyra is very human. So yeah, I thought it was kind of a neat touch. Also, kind of going back to the whole cutie mark thing, she has it on her pants and she has it on her necklace. So
acceptable,
it's cool
because it's like sewn, embroidered into her pants, if you will.
Well, I don't think it's necessarily wrong to have it in the place of a cutie mark, and I like it when, again, it's like not that there's nothing really wrong with the tattoo. It's just one of those things that's like we see it so often. It kind of is like, everyone does that.
Yeah, see, what's funny is I actually really like the kind of like tattoo placed on like the humanized character, because at one point in my life I actually considered getting like a cutie mark, actually, because it was like there was a tattoo place Friday the 13th. They're giving out $13 tattoos. Like $26 gets me like 2 cutie marks, like one on the side. You know what I mean?
No,
do it.
Why not? No. Do it. We're not skipping right over that. Let's stay on the fact that you considered at some point getting cutie marks.
Yeah, why not?
Do it.
Because that's a stupid decision.
You're a stupid decision. I didn't do it because I didn't want them. But if I ever wanted tattoos, like, I care enough about this thing that I would do it because, why not?
Yeah. Like, cutie marks, though?
Yeah.
Do it.
Forget you. Why not? It'd be awesome. I would enjoy it. It's my body. I do what I want.
I'm totally on board. I want to see this happen. BronyCon 2014.
No, I don't want
marks.
tattoos. Anyway, point being, I like that concept. So like in our last piece, like I enjoy that fact. But anyway, Joel, say something about their Adam Spark. Say something about this piece. Come on.
I like it. It's clean cut.
No.
Yeah, it's clean cut lines, but there are like the character itself. So Lyra herself is in focus, and so the top half of her and the guitar and her hands and all that are in focus. The rest of it is sort of slightly out of focus, so it's got a little bit of blurriness to it, including like the people with the like the ravers down the bottom with the brightly colored battens and the
It's a
background.
rainbow.
It's a rave.
Yeah.
A rainbow.
Rainbow.
Rainbow rave.
Rainbow. Oh yeah.
It's not really a rave. There's a guitar. It's not really a rave. But
Alright, go.
everything is out of focus except for her face and sort of that part of her, like the top half of her and the guitar. So that draws your attention straight to
Yes,
her.
it does. I'm so proud of you.
It's very subtle though, like compared to any other piece
It's
we've
very
shown
subtle,
before.
but it's very
Very
effective.
subtle.
It
Yeah.
does a lot of work to actually direct your focus. Yep.
It's also like the lighting is directed
Yes.
purely onto her.
oh my
The spotlighting.
And also, there's a large amount of contrast on her upper body compared to say her jeans.
so
Yeah.
good. Oh my god, I'm just like, they're great. I don't even have anything to say anymore. What do I say? You already said it all.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Fine,
I-
go.
I like the filter that's put over it, like the texture that it's kind of a grainy-ish texture.
It gives it
Over it.
grit.
Hashtag no filter.
Yeah, we've talked about filters and textures over things before. It kind of gives it like a, tangible, existing feeling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. I don't even think those were really good points. I don't even think I have any. Yeah. Forget it.
Well, you know what? I know that I started this with like, this is how much I don't like humanized pieces, but like this is my favorite humanized piece. So I mean, like I do like humanized pieces. So I wanted to put that out there
Yeah.
because this is by far my favorite.
It's
I love this piece.
extremely well done anime style art where like I have no nitpicks, no critiques. Like the only thing I could say is that the background, like that one beam coming out of her head, I would say that it looks a little flat and like because there's no atmospheric perspective, and I really like that on it. But there is a little bit of it, but it's kind of in the lighting and shading, and it gets brighter as it goes back. So like that would be kind of my critique, is that thing, that structure, stadium in the background doesn't feel like it recedes a lot.
Yeah.
But that's so ridiculously minor, and it does so much to direct your eye that it doesn't even matter,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
One more thing, if I may, because I know you're going to move on right after this one.
No. I wanted to just kind of follow up on Burns'
oh my
thing.
goodness, say
Oh,
it.
okay.
If
Well, you
I
should
can.
be moving on after this one,
Yeah. Let me go, and then you go, and then we'll move on. That was kind of one of the reasons why I brought up that texture, because I think the texture kind of gives the beams of light some reason to have like this concrete shape. Like if you were at a concert or whatever, they have these fog machines or smoke machines to kind of give these beams of light some shape and stuff like that. And so, yeah, I really like how that was kind of used.
Yeah.
Go on.
It sets the
Rainbow
scene.
Plasma.
I was just going to say, because we keep mentioning this is an anime style, I would argue this is like a very realistic kind of on the end of anime, because this artist, however the heck you pronounce that, also does like a lot of like really, really anime things, like like super anime, whereas this is like anime light.
Yeah.
So
I like that. Anime light.
Agree to disagree. I say it's just it's a different flavor of anime strong, if you will.
Yeah.
I disagree. You suck. I hate you, and you're a horrible person. That is the gist of this.
Fair enough.
Cool. As long as we're in agreement, Burn, that's all that matters.
Agree to agree. You're a jerk.
Cool.
All right. So we're gonna move on to our last piece before you guys like start to disagree anymore. Which our last piece is called "Good Morning Twilight" by Quizzical Kisses.
Good morning, Twilight.
I like this one too. You want to fight about it?
Yes.
You want to go? I'll punch you in the gabba.
Put you in the gabber.
So, I also like this one too. I think it's really good, and this one I can't point to anime style or facial expression as standing out. So that's cool. Someone else needs to tell me why I like this piece.
It's different. It is gold.
Different. Yeah.
She's bathed in a golden morning light, and there's like wind with the like flowing with the things in the background, the drapes.
I like
and
it.
She's got her tummy exposed, and she has a star tattoo which doesn't fit in with anything else in the picture, and yeah.
No, those are good points. Yeah, bravo.
Yeah.
No,
Burn, get Twilight's cutie mark on you.
I really,
You totally should.
I really liked how you described the scene and what's going on. Like, that's good. Like, those are things that's happening that we're seeing. So, like, there's movement in the drapes, like, and it's carrying a scene, morning breeze, blah, blah, blah. Like, we can see outside. Really, really warm golden colors. Like, holy crap, the whole piece is gold. It's awesome. It's kind of almost like Egyptian gold, crazy, like, the feeling of everything.
She looks like Cleopatra, kind of.
She kind of looks Egyptian. I was just about to say.
Because, like, that gold, kind of the haircut, like kind of tan skin, like, I could see that.
Yeah, like the flatter haircut.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting. I always find it interesting how people decide what skin color to give the characters when they do humanized versions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You see it all the time. I've seen Pinky, Twilight, Rarity as sort of black women.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I find it interesting how people come up with that.
That's a whole rabbit hole that we could get stuck down. I agree. Let's leave it at that's interesting, and I like the choices.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Yeah, go ahead. No,
it's all you.
Okay.
Take it away.
I was gonna say, going back to like this colors and this really, really warm scene, I think the reason why we kind of enjoy it so much and we all really like this piece is especially because of the colors, but also because of how smart the colors are and like how well they're used. So like I'm kind of just looking at the colors and looking for like easy like stand out there compliments, and like a big one is violet and gold. Like, oh my goodness, violet and purple. I've actually said, quote, on an episode, I hate violet and gold. Like, LA Lakers. Gross. It's a disgusting color. This piece is a huge contradiction. It's done so well. Like, the violet of the bed, the violet of Twilight's hair. Amazing compliment for, like, that golden yellow in the background. And that golden yellow also transitions into, like, a soft orange. Her skin tone, I would say, is orangey. Like, as the gold shifts down, like, technically dark gold is, like, kind of a dark orange. Like, the bottom parts of the bed are kind of a deeper orange. There's a blue cloth in the picture to accent those bright highlights of orange and, like, yellow and stuff in the piece as well. Blorange, if you will. It's a term we like to use on the show.
Blorange.
It's a bit plorange, don't you think? It's a bit more plorange.
I can see that.
Yeah. Plum
Or
orange.
Vlorange, because, you know, violet, purple.
I don't like the whole violet purple thing, okay?
That's another can of worms that we're not going to
artsy
open
word
up.
than purple is.
I know, and
Purple's
people
kind
say
of
it.
like a kindergarten color.
People say it to sound more intelligent, and
I like words that make me sound smarter than I am.
I know.
We know this.
Man, do I know.
Burned, I wanted to kind of touch on that whole point with her body being kind of this golden orange kind of thing. And to kind of go off of that with her pose, if you look at her arms, there is no point where her arms kind of blend in with the background because the artist used the drapes and her hair to kind of separate them out.
Yeah, that's a good
And
point.
also her left arm is kind of behind her hair, half behind her hair, which gives it some separation from her right arm, which I thought was very clever.
That's actually a really good point. I kind of noticed that how that's built. Also something, going back to our color episode with Spirito, the
Long time ago.
really long time ago. Really warm lighting in this piece, and as we've been over, warm lighting casts cool shadows, and cool lighting casts warm shadows. And I would argue because everything is so warm in this piece, it makes the kind of darker violet she's shaded with on her arms and like underarm and then her side where her cutie mark is, makes it seem like a very kind of cool, dull violet color.
Yeah, I'd see that.
And I would also say that color, what it is, so this is actually kind of cool. She's like kind of a bright, highlighted and bright yellow, and she's kind of orange. I would think that what she is shaded with and like her shadow, like what she's colored with, is a complement to that color of her skin tone, We saw that once in an episode that I don't remember what. I think it was the Octavia episode, where Octavia everything was orange, and then she was being shaded with the complement of that. And when you put two complements together, it neutralizes them and creates a gray tone. So like this darker kind of violet creates this neutral, darker shading on Twilight. Fun fact.
Yeah. Yeah, that is really cool.
So on a completely, just completely out of left field here, completely different. I also wanted to point out that I thought it was an interesting decision to include pony version of Ponyville in the background.
Yeah.
Pony clouds and pony roof, as we see in the show.
Yeah. Well, it's totally believable because, I mean, that's humanized structure, you know? Just ponies live in it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Did you
it's
see
true.
the book that she's reading?
But it's cool how it's like it's not changed at all. Like the background outside of her window isn't modified to be more human at all, but it still kind of fits in.
Yeah.
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 I really like what Joel just brought up. The book she's looking at is Pony Anatomy. It's how to draw ponies.
How to draw ponies.
Anyway,
That is pretty cool.
that's a good
I
point.
honestly
Max.
don't see Twilight as much of an artist. I don't think she'd have the time for it.
She's just studying it.
Should be too. I would say too calculating to be.
Maybe she found a rift in the space-time continuum and went through and found all these pony creatures, and so she's taking notes about their bone structures and stuff.
Maybe, maybe there's this weird mirror in her universe and blah, blah, blah.
And then she goes in there, and all the ponies are in high school for some reason.
Yeah, what the heck?
And nobody
there's
really
this one
talks
pony.
about it.
Yeah, there's this one pony named Flash, and yeah,
We don't talk
we're just
about
gonna
that.
leave that.
What the heck, Hasbro? Humanized version of Hasbro.
No, it's Pazbro.
There you go. Nailed it.
Pony Hasbro. Okay,
I got
cool.
it.
I got it.
Yeah.
I'm cool.
Oh, fun fact.
Whoa, fun fact time! Everybody, calm down. Whoa, simmer. There's a fun fact incoming.
We've been over this a little bit, but something that we like that we've talked about again on the show, but we'll talk about again in this art piece is utilizing amazingly, and I just totally noticed because it's so awesomely done that I just didn't really notice. There is a play between foreground, midground, and background, and it's done extremely well. So there's three things right in our face that are blurry, and out of camera focus of view and out of our eye focus, which is the roses on the left-hand side, what I think is a pot thing that pours water on the right-hand side on the bottom there, and then that wooden post in the right that is in our view, in our face, giving us closeness. So it's like we're placed in a scene. Spirit talked about that a little bit. If you go and watch our Children of the Night interview, the second one, with the newer one, when they finally released Children of the Night, they talked about how kind of placing you in the scene creates kind of like intimacy in the scene, and that you feel like you are in there, like you are existing in this scene, you know, like we are physically sitting in this picture looking at Twilight, which this does. So those things are in our face. Then you have Twilight, the bed, the room, which is in the midground of what we are looking at, what's in focus, and then the background outside of the window, which is far away and a little bit hazy and also bright, things that are kind of like whitish or lighter. We will associate with outside or in the background in daytime, mind you, because our eyes are focused on the light that is inside, so things outside seem a little bit brighter.
Atmospheric perspective.
Yay!
Wow, this piece is holy crap amazing. So many awesome things going on.
Very good.
Like
very,
the
very
shading, the painting, the artwork, the focus. It's wow.
I like how flowy it is. Like the drapes, and then her pose, and then the cloth on the bed, and it's really nice.
Has anyone else stretched like 8 times while looking at this piece? It makes me want to stretch.
Yeah, there's something about stretching that's really deeply ingrained into like just, I don't know, human minds.
I'm interested in what's going on with that piece of string hanging down behind her.
Now I feel like stretching. It's like yawning. Damn it.
All right, so we do have to move on to the questions, I believe, at this point.
Do we?
The piece is so beautiful.
Yes, I know.
No?
Her
Okay,
facial
questions?
expression.
Do it.
Alright.
Questions.
I got a question here. First question. If you could gain the ability to use a craft, whether it be sculpting, wood carving, sewing, painting, etc., what would it be and why? Sent in by Sonnenblitz.
Ooh.
Thank you for the cake.
I don't know. I would say sewing, because then I can repair my own clothes.
And plushies.
And honestly, and make plushies. And honestly, that's all I would need in life.
Plushies
damn.
Plushies and clothes.
Okay, I think the plushies just won me over. I was trying to think really hard about it, and I thought maybe like woodworking, because then I could make like no. I think I'm in agreement. Yeah, sewing. Plushies are too awesome.
Yeah.
Probably painting, like a really, really good real life oil painting. Like, wow, I'm getting like flashbacks of when I was hanging out with Cosmic Unicorn in Seattle. When I was at the Comic-Con. When I was hanging out with her, she took me to her art studio in Seattle, like her art school that she's going to, and she has like a personal studio she shares with 2 other students. And like all the pieces she had painted were like just ridiculously amazing, to the point where it's like holy crap, like you made this, you know? And like the stuff her like colleagues were making, like, oh my goodness. I mean, like, if you were to I don't know, I feel like that kind of skill is just something that's crazy, and it's taken so much time of her life. She devoted so many like years into like her art school and painting, and like I couldn't imagine, like I don't have the time, the effort, or the determination / motivation to become so skilled at something like that in painting. But that's something like I would love to do or achieve. And I feel like if you had it, you could oil paint that well, you just sell it, and then I could buy my own clothes and plushies. Like, forget making them. You know what I mean?
So you could buy them from us.
Yeah,
from
exactly.
Rainbow Plasma myself. Yeah.
I'll trade you really, really good paintings.
Yeah.
Deal. Wait, sorry, this isn't reality.
Oh, that must work.
Damn.
Your answer.
I've been trying to decide. I really like the idea of being able to wood carve really well, to be able to make sculptures and that sort of thing out of wood. But I also am very, very in love with the idea of being able to draw or sketch with pencil or pen or something really, really, really well. Just because you've always got a pen on you or a pencil on you. You could just sit down anywhere and just be like, that's cool. That's a cool idea. I'm going to draw that right now on this piece of toilet paper or on this napkin. And hey, this person that I've just met has done something cool for me, or this is my friend, so I'm going to sit right here. I'm going to draw something for them. I like that idea, to be able to do that.
I can see that. Just friggin' do it, cool. Man. It's one of those things where it's like, I don't have the motivation to paint. Maybe I don't have the motivation to draw, but being able to just sit down and draw something is a lot easier than being able to sit down and paint something. So just like, if you got the time, just sketch something on napkins, man. Be that napkin artist. Be the napkin artist, man. Be it.
Be
live
that
it.
guy.
Love it.
Dude, if you become a famous napkin artist, you could like sell napkins with your art on them.
Also, as like a sub answer, since there's wood carving, blacksmithing was on my list. It was like a close second, because I just make swords. Yeah, swords.
What'd you use the swords for, Bernd?
I don't know, whacking stuff. Like killing watermelons and being like fruit ninja, like cut fruit. I don't know. You want to go in the garage and do karate with swords? Like, yeah, I do. High five. I don't know.
Fantastic.
Okay. Do we have another question?
I do have another question here. Second one I've got here is by Ramslack. What is something you don't like in art?
Lots of things. Oh my god, this question's amazing. I hate so much. Like, huge pet peeves. Oh, there's too many. There's a bunch of like art for this episode. So funny thing is, I used to appreciate so much art like when I first started making this show. But now there's like things I see where it's like I can see that, like that's done wrong. That's a critique. Like that's novice. Like, oh, and like I critiques for things. And it's just like, oh no, I don't want to feature this piece because it does this. God, I have so many pet peeves. Like, that's your favorite. What's the thing you hate the most in art? And then you guys say it, and then I'll think about the huge list of things.
Bernd is like the pickiest person when it comes to art nowadays.
Pick one thing
it's
and talk
a problem. No, you guys go first, then I'll pick a thing.
Okay, I will go first. Then I dislike messy line work.
Good choice. Good choice. I agree.
Yeah.
Go on.
I like I don't know, when I see a piece of art and it's just like, you know, it looks like it's done in MS Paint because the lines are so like wobbly and stuff. I don't know. It just turns me off immediately from it.
I'll agree that MS Paint thing's bad, but no, I'm changing my answer. I just agree with you. There's some things that are really, really good MS Paint work. I actually like some things, but no, go on. I'll just critique every single one of your guys' answers. Go ahead. Next person.
What don't I like in art? Is burned an answer?
Kill yourself.
I'll accept it.
I'm going to allow this.
Burns preferences? No, I'm joking. I don't know. I was giggling because the first thing that came to my head was most humanized stuff, but that's not fair. What's the biggest pet peeve?
Yeah.
That's the difference of something like what we don't like.
What was
Something we don't like in art.
That was the
don't like. So
question.
that's different from pet peeve, right?
Yeah.
What do you
Like pet
dislike
peeve would be
What do you dislike
Pet
the
peeve
most?
is something that's
right.
an
'Cause like
annoyance.
pet peeve would be like, oh, I hate it when people watermark stuff, but that's not necessarily a dislike of the art, right? So
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
What do I dislike? Honestly, like, I can go with the boring answer of like when people don't do faces well. So I guess that's an answer. But I mean, like, truly, honestly, I don't find myself gravitated towards a lot of like humanized stuff. And like that's again, like that's not a knock on humanized work, because all of the ones that we showed today and a bunch of the ones that we looked at for potential, I think are really good art pieces. It's just none of them, like, people have known me for the last 404 episodes. You know, they've known me as the guy who likes to be grabbed emotionally and especially with the faces and stuff. And so, you know, it just doesn't grab me emotionally in the same way.
Yeah.
I would like to distill what you're saying down to the fact that humanized artwork doesn't grab you emotionally as horse artwork.
It doesn't.
Go on.
It's much less often.
Okay.
Huh.
I have to
All
say,
right.
humanized things did not make me feel emotions as much as horse things. Ponies, man. They're
enough.
magical. Go on.
It's
Emma
like
Spark?
I feel like you keep trying to get back to that and be like, "Oh, you like horses better." Burn, do you know what show we're making?
I know, but it's funny to me because you're just like, no, I don't like humanized artwork. No, it's not my thing. I don't like people. I don't like art with people in them about this horse show that I enjoy.
Okay,
Like, do you like humanized art that has nothing to do with My Little Pony, just human art?
No, not really.
See, then that's what I'm getting down to. Is you just like pony art
Okay,
about
sure.
horses?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
No. You keep saying horses. You keep saying horses, and
I'm
I
saying horses
disagree
to be
adamantly.
satirical.
Because horses specifically, you want to know another thing I don't like?
Okay.
Super realistic horses.
That's okay. Yeah, I don't care. Keep in mind. Yeah.
I don't care.
Ponies. I'm saying horses to be satirical, but I mean ponies. Every time I've said
Yeah.
horses, I mean ponies. My Little Pony artwork.
This was the worst answer I've ever given, and I'm just gonna cut it off now as opposed to try to explain it. That was my answer. I don't know what my answer was, honestly, but it was that.
Ted or Joel, go.
Okay, so I don't like when someone tries to over-design or over-engineer their character or their drawing for whatever they're making.
Like that.
No, I don't like that.
Oh, okay, you said you don't like that.
Okay, no, that's what I don't like.
Okay.
So like
Same
if they make it too complicated, so I'm going to use, people are probably going to murder me for this, but I'm going to use Pokemon as an example. I don't like a lot of the legendary Pokemon because they're over-designed.
I can see that.
There's too much to them.
It's
Yeah,
too complicated.
Pokemon kind of has
Yeah.
a thing where it's like the more simplistic the Pokemon is, like the more stage 1 and like basic evolutions there are of that Pokemon, and then it's like when you get into like the legendary Pokemon or whatever, like third evolutions, they start to get more complex. And as the show progresses, they come out with more complex Pokemon.
My girlfriend
You know
is
what I
the huffy with me because I mentioned Pokemon in a bad way.
Yeah, but no, I totally get what you mean. That whole simplistic part of Pokemon kind of sticks with me from when I was young.
Yeah.
Anyway, let me show something real quick.
That makes sense. I would agree with that.
So like, I mean, you see the same here. You see the same thing here when someone like makes a character, makes an OC, and then one day they decide to become an alicorn and they get all these magical powers and they have 17 wings and 3 legs
Also
and that sort of thing.
rainbow.
The
And 14
backstory
accessories.
and like the
Yeah.
backstory and the affair with Luna and the
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rice. All right. Anyway,
Too complicated. Yeah, I agree.
okay. So now I'm gonna sound like the most pretentious person ever. But But
just now?
No, that's fine. That was just that's just normal pretentious burn. This is super pretentious burn.
Oh god, super pretentious burn.
Okay.
The thing that I dislike in art, like currently, like as I look at art for the show and as I browse art on DeviantArt, I really, hate's the wrong word, I really don't care for novice artwork. Because I see so much of it on DeviantArt that it just becomes like, I don't like this. I don't want to look at it. There's nothing visually appealing about it. There's nothing that appeals to all this knowledge that I know and have gained about art that I don't want to look at it. Like, I enjoy novice artists. Like, they're awesome. They're aspiring to make art. Like, if you're a novice artist watching the show, I love you. Keep making art. But like, there's so many DeviantArt groups that I follow to where it's like I see so much of it that I can't take it. And like when something that I feel like is more novice, like that we are looking at as art to feature on the show, like I can't stand it. And there's artwork that like some people on our show, not naming names, will like, oh man, I really love this, looks awesome, and I'll be like, that's crap, I hate it.
Maybe everyone else?
Everyone who's not me. No.
Anybody who's not super pretentious.
They're doing all these things that I know are the things that could be done better or like more expert artists have done, because now I see so many like good artists and so much like highly experienced and well-made art that more novice tendencies, like sometimes bad line work, sometimes bad coloring, other times bad anatomy. Like I'm going to name a name here. People are going to hate me. I don't care for art like Citra, because for one fact, it was in Joel's pet peeve where he doesn't like things overcomplicated. I feel like Citra really overcomplicates things, and then like he has anatomy issues that I don't like. Sometimes he has coloring issues. But I love really, really like well done expert artwork. So that's what I don't like. There you go.
The opinions of Burned are not reflected by the Cutie Art Crusaders, and no one should sue us for saying negative things about certain artists.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's okay. I'm glad you said that, Burned. I'm really glad you said that, Burned, because any other answer would have been a lie.
Yeah.
So
I'm
glad you came out and just spoke the truth. That was the whole point. Those are the questions.
Yeah.
You don't want the answers. You can't handle the truth. It's the truth. You know, I mean, like I'm really afraid that some people are gonna get offended by the fact that like you don't like this or like I don't like Humanized. But at the end of the day, like it's all a preference. That's all we're trying to say. You know, whenever we talk about this stuff, it's all a preference. And the fact of the matter is, even though Byrne says this and he's like, oh, I don't really enjoy what he considers novice art. The fact of the matter is, that's why we have 4 people on the show, right? So 3 of us will disagree, and then it'll be on the show because we think it's good. And, you know, like that's the whole point of having differing opinions on this show. And I think that's something that we really bring together on this show.
And that way we find art that the other people might like. If
and now
for
that I've
example,
made
I wasn't here, we can find stuff that yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, now that we've said that, if anybody comes up to us and gets angry at us for having opinions, then you can just go away. The statement has been made. These are all opinions. And you're allowed to have them just as much as we are.
Yeah, but my opinions are more professional than others, maybe. You know, you can say.
All right. Well, my opinions are going to go beat up Burns' opinions after this podcast.
Well, my opinion is that Joel should do the plugs.
Yes.
Super quick.
Okay.
Yes.
I'll do this super quick. Okay, so we have a DeviantArt account, which is cutieartcrusaders.deviantart.com. We also have a Gmail account, which is cutieartcrusaders@gmail.com. We have Facebook, which is Cutie Art Crusaders on Facebook, Twitter, which is @CutieArtCrusade, and we also have now cutieartcrusaders.tumblr.com. Go ask us questions, and if you're lucky, it might get put up on the Tumblr page, because that's been happening.
Somebody asked us on Twitter, where's the best place to submit art? The best place is our email, and probably now Tumblr. If you have a Tumblr.
No, best place is always email.
I wanted to bring, the best place is always email, but I wanted to bring up the fact that Tumblr art specifically, like, you can link us that Tumblr art on, like, to our email, one, or you can now send it to our Tumblr, but before Tumblr was not a good platform for us to be able to see art.
Yeah. Also, best place for everything is either email or DeviantArt.
Yeah,
those are the 2 things.
DeviantArt is our hub.
But don't send us art to our DeviantArt account. Like, link us a DeviantArt link to our email.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, our theme for next week, we have no idea. Bern and I won't be here, so it's all on Rainbow Plasma. And Atmospark because
it's the Rainbow Plasma and Atmospark show.
Yeah, because we're gonna be at Everfree Northwest.
Yeah, we were gonna have this last year when you guys went to BronyCon, and then you guys were like, "No, we're gonna call in and have Mahower, and it'll be a big deal." So now we actually do get to have our we had fan art for a show that never aired because it didn't exist. We had someone make like a Rainbow Plasma and Atmospark.
It was Cotton Paws, right? The artist who made a little clay figurines of us. She made a Pinky Dash and Burn show.
And she made a Rainbow Plasma and Atmospark one, which is now like a year early. It's the first time fan art's ever been made of something, but a year before it actually happened.
It's funny.
Yeah. So have fun next week, guys.
Yeah, enjoy.
You're still gonna help us pick the art, by the way. I just wanted to tell you that.
Sorry, I gotta
go. No. All right. Okay, well, that's everything. Excuse me. This podcast has gone on for so long, and my fans have been off that I've just got to... removing some articles of clothing. It's too hot in my room. Anyways.
Well, all right.
I'm back.
Removing clothing.
I hope everyone missed me.
Don't mind if I do.
Just my socks, of course.
Oh, well, put my shirt back on.
So that's everything for this week, folks. I'm a bit delusional right now because of the heat and also my congestion. So I don't even know what happened in the last 50 minutes.
Don't worry about it.
Just blacked out there for the last 50 minutes. No big deal.
It worked.
So yeah, I guess that's everything for this week. Yeah, the themes, everything. I'm trying to think.
Love you all the same.
I feel like I'm missing something.
Thank you guys for watching, whether or not you're in the live stream or on YouTube.
Oh, right. I was going to talk about the fact that, we love you all the same, whether or not you're on the live stream or on YouTube.
That's backwards.
I know, I'm mess with you.
It's wrong. Everything's wrong. End the episode. I'm Bern.
And on Atmospark. Good night.
And we're done.
Okay. Anyways, that's the end of the show. So my name is Rainbow Plasma.
I'm Bern.
I'm Flutterguy317.
Atmospark.
And we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.